Now that Piggy Decay Part 2 has been out for over a few days, I thought I should give my thoughts and review on this chapter. Minitoon and the Piggy development team did really good on this, and I'm just really happy with it. Delirium starts off in part of a forest, and you make your way to this playground. I really like this part, and I think the puzzle is really fun. And once you beat the puzzle, which is like tic-tac-toe in a way, you go down the slide, and at the end is a jump scare. Now, the first time I did this, it genuinely scared me because I wasn't expecting it. So, for that, that's a 10 out of 10 for me. I did not expect that, and just because of that, I think it was really fun and enjoyable. So, after you go down the slide, you go to this little playhouse area. It reminds me of one of those McDonald's plays areas, which is just cool. But my main issue with this is just how confusing it is. All the hallways just look the same, and really all we're doing is just wandering around trying to find a room. And the NPCs, they kind of just stand there and sometimes make it take forever to go to the correct spot. So that it's kind of annoying when that happens, but it's also fun, I guess, because it makes it longer, right? Which Decay Part 1, I do like for its length. I think one of the main issues I have with Decay Part 2 is just how short it is, because I feel like if it was a little longer, it'd be fine. Or better. It is really good. I love Decay Part 2. To actually get out of this area, though, you need to do this puzzle, which is a lock, and you have to find these wooden pieces. I think a triangle, square, and circle, or a sphere, and you have to put them in the correct order. I really like how it's executed, because in the areas where you get these items, the code is part of the code at least is on the wall. So for example, it'll be triangle, arrow, circle. So that means triangle goes before or after, I don't remember. Yeah, but it tells you in the order it goes. So triangle goes either before or after circle, and then you just have to put the pieces in that order on the lock. I think it's cool and really unique. Something I'd like to mention though is that I feel like the K Part 2 is more based on the puzzles. The chase scenes aren't really that difficult, and yeah, because I feel like Decay Part 2 is more puzzle based than Decay Part 1 was. So then when you actually get out of the area, you have to do this really cool chase with these shadow things that appear throughout the map. And it's really fun. It's not that difficult. I'd say it's pretty easy because you're not really crouching, you're just running around the obstacles. But at the end, you have to grab Sheepy and then you go back into the forest. The next part after that is probably my favorite part of the whole chapter, and it's Bunny's house. Bunny's house is just like a normal Piggy chapter. You have to get keys to kind of escape. You're not really escaping. We'll get into that later. But you basically find the reading room key that takes you to the basement key. But then the doll, or not really the doll, but in your hallucinations, you get locked in there for a minute, or at least the door shuts. And then you have to leave and then find wires to turn the power back on. When that happens, everything is broken down and just creepy. The portraits, their eyes start glowing like they're infected, and we finally figure out what Bonnet and what's her name, Brella. Oh yeah, also I'll get to that later because that's actually really cool. But yeah, you find out what they look like, and once you have the lights back on, you have to go through this really cool cutscene. Well, not cutscene, but chase. My bad. And it's really fun. I think it's better than the Decay Part 1 chases. It's easy, but not too easy, and it's just fun. You're running from this big monster thing. It's a hand. I don't know what it is, but it just looks cool, and I'm kind of hoping that's the final reward skin for the decaying the 8th season. So yeah, but once you beat that, you move on to, well, you have to wander through the forest again. But once you beat it, you, oh my gosh, you find the chain. It's just hanging there, and you have to shoot it to get rid of it. But the chained, I don't know why people hate it. It is an amazing skin. I get that it's not the Twisted Rabbit, but I think it's cooler than the Twisted Rabbit, and whoever made it, good job. I love it. It's really creepy. 2020 me would have hated it, but yeah, but now I love it. Top 3 skins. That short I made a few days ago is now irrelevant. top 3 skins, probably number 2, nothing can beat Tio. But the chain skin is just amazing. Okay? But next you go to Bunny's, well, not Bunny's, but like the medical school, right? Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, we do figure out what the teacher's name is. Gloria. Which I think, it's like a small little detail, but I just think it's cool. So when we're in the, oh my gosh, the school, the medical school, right? Another little detail is there's this like plaque. I forget what's on it, but it gives us Sheepy's real name, which is Shiloh, which I think is interesting, because that means that Bunny's first name probably isn't Bunny, unless Bunny's a rabbit and her first name is Bunny Rabbit, which I guess makes sense. But what's Doggy's real name? Well, Piggy's is Penny. Yeah, but I think that's really interesting that their animal name isn't their first name, but instead their last name. Which, yeah, it's just interesting. Because what about Pandy? Is Pandy's first name Pandy? Right? We find out Katie's last name there too, which is Kirby, which, cool. And Peyton is official. Like, from a few videos I made ago, I was like, we need a Peyton skin in the game. I didn't know he'd be in part 2 of Decay, so I'm now like, I guess now we need a Peyton skin. But the puzzle in the school, right? You have to find a bunch of books, and like on the little whiteboard, there's, so let's say star, right? The star, how many books there are, and then what place it is. In reality, you only need to find 2 of them, but because you can just guess on the 3rd one. But I think it's really cool. And throughout the whole thing, guess who's chasing you? Not the twisted rabbit, my bad. The chain skin, which again, really creepy, but really cool. You know, I take back what I said about Bunny's house being my favorite part of this chapter. My favorite part of this chapter is actually like the final fight where you fight off the shadow creatures. I think it's just really fun and unique for Piggy, and the closest thing I can think to that's like that is probably the Tio boss fight, but in a way they're like both really different from each other. But this part, it's just really fun. You have to defend Bunny's family and friends from the shadow creatures and the chained monster. I think the most annoying part though is the chained monster, you know, Bonnet in a way, hallucination Bonnet really. Like, they can catch you off guard, which again makes it really cool. I like how really Bunny's friends don't matter. The only thing that really matters to her is her family, which I believe that's Bonnet and Brella, right? Because her friends, if they die, well, not really die, but yeah, their health goes down. You won't die. But if Bunny's family dies, then you die and you have to restart. Which, I don't know if that's like on purpose. It probably is. And I think it's just like a cool little detail. But it's probably just to make the map easier, because they're in the center. But once you beat that, you have the final cutscene, which is Sheepy coming to save Bunny. Now, this is probably the most interesting cutscene in all of Piggy, because it proves that the infected can talk to each other. Because the infected see other infected as survivors, but they see the survivors as infected. Which, like, the little thing in school, the message that teacher writes, which, wait, let me look it up, because I believe it's like, I can't control my actions. Okay, here it translates to, I feel everything I do. I can't control my actions. I can't help myself. My mind yells for help, but my body does not agree. I wish the world would understand. I don't know if that like got retcon now, because I mean that was like really early Piggy, chapter 5 Piggy, right? But that doesn't make sense anymore, because the infected can obviously control their actions, because Bunny and Sheepy are controlling their actions, right? Because they see us as infected. And this also like would be like, how do they not communicate? Can they still write notes? Because I mean, if teacher can on the white chalkboard, my bad, yes, then yes they can. But then again, that was if that was retconned, right? So why can't they just write out to the other infected or survivors, right? Like it kind of it leaves room for a bunch of theories, which I will be going over some questions I still have from this chapter. Not tomorrow's video, but sometime this week. Yeah, but yeah, that's basically it. The chapter ends with Bunny and Sheepy walking down like a path, and yeah, they're infected. The final thing I want to talk about is the reward we get for beating the chapter. Now, the reward we get is the chain skin, which, in my opinion, again, top 3 skins, one of the best in the game. It's just so like spooky and scary, and I think it fits Piggy really well. I I prefer this over the Twisted Rabbit skin. I think it's just better in every way. It's more unique. Like it's just in Bonnet in chains, right? I didn't know her hand. I thought her arms were like cut off, but no, they're just like wrapped around her. I didn't see that. So if you and her legs too. But yeah, so that's Bonnet, right? We used to think that Brella, the Twisted Rabbit, was Bonnet, which I actually want to talk about right now. So we used to think that the Twisted Rabbit that chases us in Decay Part 1 was Bonnet, but in this chapter, through like the cutscene and the paintings in the bunny house, we learned that it is actually Brella because she's wearing green, and the chained is actually Bonnet because she has the floral purple dress, which I think is cool, you know. But that also means that Brella from the Lost Book is now canon, which I know that Piggy the Lost Book did collab with Minitoon, and I'm pretty sure that Pig 64 was just like a little prequel teaser for the Lost Book. So I can't wait to see what Minitoon does with Brella and Bonnet in the future. And I hope that they appear in Piggy Intercity. Okay, so overall, I'd rate this chapter about a 9.8 out of 10. I really like it. I think it's really fun to play through and has a bunch of replayability. I don't know if that's a real word, but yeah, that was Decay Part 2. Really fun. Minitoon and the Piggy team did a good job on it.